Hello, good morning, welcome back to the fish locker out on the boat. It is not a very nice day today. I usually like to come out first light, but I've killed it off just because it was absolutely thrashing it down when I got up this morning. Today I imagine we're going to spend most of our time dodging these rainstorms. There's a very big one there. There's a big one there. It's raining down there where you can see that rainbow. And that's the one that's just passed. That big cumulonimbus cloud there that's just passed. Unfortunately though, this is as good as it's going to get. We have had horrendous weather for a couple of weeks and we've got more of it coming. So I'm just going to try and scratch out a bit of a session today. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to go to a piece of reef first and then maybe try some wrecks, and I might put the anchor down. I'm just going to try and adapt and avoid getting absolutely drenched. So yeah, time to get the waterproofs on. Let's go. Must be crazy. We are in for a bit of a sloppy day, I think. Plenty of rainbows about though. Cheeky little ballon wrasse. Yeah, that's not what we're after. I don't know if you can see the porpoise there at the back. They're much smaller than dolphins. I mean, obviously you can get little dolphins, you get small ones, you get young ones. Yeah. An adult porpoise is smaller, and whereas a dolphin's got like a long beak, porpoises' noses are like flat. Oh, I've got a nice drift, drifting at 1.7 knots. That's that wind. The wind's tearing us along. Oh, found you. Found one. Might be foul looked because it's not, just about to say it's not scrapping. I don't know what we've got yet. Actually, well, it's not a bad pollock. This one did not fight at all. Just a couple of deep thumps to start with. There you go. That lure is right in there. For anybody concerned, someone commented about this the other day. Where I'm holding it, my fingers aren't actually in between the gills. Well, see if I can show you better. If you can slide your hand just up inside the gill cover, like that, they can come all the way through and they don't actually come in contact with the gill membranes. If your fingers go into the gill membranes, it's not going to do the fish any favours. Whereas you can hold a fish like this and you can hold it securely and it's not going to do it any damage. There you go. First one of the day. It's always good to get the first one out of the way. Yeah. Whilst I can put that one back, I'd put it back. It's about on the limit of what I would like to take for the table. A bass that size, I would have definitely kept it. Oh, sorry, the lure it was on, just a little 20 gram soft plastic. And all I did there was I just cast it up we're drifting that way, so I've casted that way, so by the time that my lure sinks to the bottom I've drifted above it, so I can fish almost vertically. I don't know if you can see what's brought me to this area, but there's a load of birds working just over there. Perfect sign to look for. Them birds and porpoise are better fishermen than I'll ever be. When I'm drifting, you see the engine's straight back and the wind's blowing me this way. If I give a bit of wheel, turn the engine over, as the boat's being pushed along by the wind, it will turn, so it'll mean I'll be sideways on. It'll be a little bit more sloppy, but it means I can fish off this side of the boat. It's easier to fish down that way. Not only is it because I'm drifting that way, but I'm not casting into the wind. Now what'll happen is, as we drift, you see I've got like, the line's quite slack at the minute, and the line's sat slack on the water because we're drifting towards where I've casted. If I started winding now, I would wind all this slack line onto my reel, and in 2 or 3 casts time I would have a wind knot. So you hold onto the line tight to make sure it's wound onto the reel tight, and then when you catch up to it, you can fish normally. When you're drifting over an area of reef like this, if you can't get a nice lay, if you can't get a nice drift, I could put a drogue out, like a sea anchor. Depending on which way I wanted to go, I'll put it at the front. If I wanted to swing round, I'll put it at the back, and that could alter your drift. As it is right now, we've got 1.5 knots of drift, and we're drifting all right. This speed of drift might make it difficult when we get out to the wrecks, because if you've got a wreck that's sat with the tide and with the drift, it's perfect because you drift all the way along it. If it's sat across it, you've only got as wide as the wreck is. So if the wreck's 100 metres long and it's with the tide, you'll get 100 metres of drift on the wreck. But if it's only 10 metres wide and it's sat across the tide, you only get 10 metres of drift. I know there'll be some bass here, just because of the amount of bait fish and the amount of bird action. It's just finding where on the reef that you are, because you don't stay in the same place. They'll move round and follow the bait fish. But obviously, as they're attacking the bait fish aren't going to stay still neither. They're going to try and evade them, so they'll constantly be moving. I don't know, well, you can see that rainbow. Yeah, they're falling from bass, but only a little one. And you need to be careful with these because they are covered in spines and they do know how to use them. Don't be like that. There we go. Now this one is about on legal limit. Too small for me to keep. I would prefer them to be somewhere between, like, say 45 and 60 centimetres. This one's going to be about 42. But where there's one, there'll be more. Saw that flash of silver and I was like, oh yeah, yeah. It was only a tiddler. There's a beauty, that rainbow. Never mind a pot of gold, I wouldn't mind some silver. It's alright, thrashing it down. I'm going to have to put the camera away. Here, these squalls, they blow in really fast, but that means that they also blow out really fast. Fishing at this time of year can be fantastic. It is it's the best time of year to catch a decent bass. But the problem with that is it's just the weather. Boat fishing, you'd be lucky if you can get out once or twice a month. Don't know if you can see that rainstorm down there. Fish don't mind it when it's wet. Let's go and try some of them wrecks. Like a different day now. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try drifting over a wreck. I am in 72 metres of water. I am drifting at 0.9 knots. This is my Regiment Solid Carbon and this is a 12 to 20. Now, it's all you really want for when you're fishing for pollock on wrecks is a rod that's got some bend in it. Just because pollock, they're like a crashing dive type of fight. So you just want a rod that's going to be able to absorb the fight. Let's see where we're going to go. This first drift is just to see which way the boat's going to lay over the wreck. It's very rare that it gets right first time. In fact, this time we're going to skate just down the side of it. Yeah, we're going to miss it by about 5 metres. You need to be bang on. I have to go around and do that again. Like I said, every day is different. The tide's different, the wind's different, your drift's going to be different. All I did was I positioned my boat up tide of the wreck to drift down over it. And as it is, we've tacked off to the side slightly. So yeah, we're just going to miss it. I'll loop round and have a go. All I'm using here is a 3-way swivel and about 8 to 10 foot of 20-pound fluoro. Eight to 10 feet of 20-pound fluoro, and on the end of that I've got a little soft plastic. Now I've started off with a really small one, and that's just because the baits that I was seeing when I was fishing up on the reef were tiny. If I don't pick up any fish with this, I'll switch to a different colour, a different size, just mix and match. Oh, there's a fish. All I did was just drop into the bottom and slowly winding up. So that little soft plastic lure just swims around above the wreck, up and down. And I was just waiting for a pollock to come up and take it. And you notice I didn't strike, I just kept on winding, because as the fish comes up and takes the lure and turns around and goes back to the seabed, it sets the hook itself. Now I'm being very, very gentle with it because it's only a really small lure. So it's only got a really small hook. Now it's not a massive one, but it is big enough. There you go. What I'm going to do is, if I can release this one, I will do, because he he isn't the biggest. If I get this hook out and if this fish will go back, I'll put him back, because he isn't the biggest fish. Go back or not? Nah, this guy's already blown. So what I'm gonna have to do, I'll dispatch him and blade him and I'll keep him. Trashed me lure as well. Pulled the head out of it. Yeah, fishing deep like this on wrecks, quite often that happens. That fish there, because it's come up from such depth, suffers with something called barotrauma. It's like when divers get the bends. So yeah, that fish there, it's not going to survive me releasing it, so I'm going to take it. Go around and try that again. You notice that the pollock that I had on the reef was slightly bigger than that, but I let it go because I could let it go. If I could let them go on the reef like that, I will do. On the wrecks like this, they don't very often go back. It was a good drift that. Do that again. But what I'm going to do is I am going to switch to a larger lure wherever they've gone. I'll show you in a second. Are you there? Yeah. Oh, he's not dropped it. Oh, I dropped it. That had been snapping at the tail of that. Picked up that bite at the same place on the wreck as we did with the last one. So definitely there. Yeah, this is a larger lure than the last one. I felt like it was just snapping at the tail and didn't get it all in its mouth. Oh, there it is. There it is. That fish smashed that. Snapping at the tail again and then just absolutely thrashed it. This does feel like a much better fish. What's difficult to do is when you're slopping around like this and you're coming up and down on swells, is to cushion the fish. That is a better fish. Right. Oh, and he's popped the lure off. That thrash in my hand there, he snapped the lure off the line, look. There's the lure sat in his mouth. Knackered up my lure as well, but I got the fish. Yeah. There's the lure. That's a sidewinder Skerry's eel, and that's in pearl. And that's a nice pollock. Very happy with that. Yeah, very happy with that one. That's a fine eating sized fish. Now you'll notice what I did there was just wind it and just lift it just to get him up, and a crashing dive. Yeah, playing the fish like that, I didn't strike. Playing the fish up like this when I was winding, I didn't strike, all I did was I just lifted the rod and just kept on winding, just steady wind. Days like this aren't easy. Everything about it is just a chore. The boat's constantly slopping side to side. Nothing stays where it should be. That's all I'm using. Yeah, everything's always slopping side to side. You're always going up and down when you're trying to play fish. Whenever you put something down, it always rolls away and ends up somewhere else. It's just a difficult day at sea when it's like this. It's that like sloppy chop. And because the gusts are coming up and dropping off, you never get a straight drift, because at one point in time you might be drifting at 1.8 knots, and then when it dies off you're drifting at like 0.6. It's just one of them. Now as I'm doing this, not only am I constantly experimenting with different lures, like long ones, short ones, white, blue, green, red, whatever, I'm experimenting with different speeds of retrieve. Some days they might like it fast, some days they might like it slow. You just alternate, change it up until you find what's working. If I didn't keep alternating up, that first fish came at about 10 winds. That second one was at 25. The reason why I went more is because I lost a fish the previous drift at like 20 winds. So that's telling me that the fish are higher up in the water. Obviously it depends depends how fast the retrieve is on your reel. Oh, there's a fish. That is another lovely pollock. That is another stunner of a pollock. He wasn't coming off. No, he certainly wasn't coming off. That lure is right down at the back of his gullet. That's a perfect size eating fish. I don't know if you can see, but this one's got quite a few lice on his back. Yeah, sometimes I'll show you here with this fish. I don't know if you can see that lure that's right down at the back of there. Because the hook is down and back in, sometimes it's easier getting the hook out. Instead of going in through its mouth, you go up through one of the gills like this, clamp hold of the hook, and then turn it and push it out like that. Problem with having fat fingers. That is a stunner of a fish. Really happy with that. Now, people who've watched our videos before will have heard me say this plenty of times. We believe in the dispatching and bleeding of fish. Now, I'm not going to show you that on camera because I know that some people don't like seeing it. If you want to know how we do it, Google Ike Jimmy. There's that trace again. I want to stop this lead from swinging round so it doesn't smash anything. All that is, it's a 10-ounce lead, a 3-way swivel, about 10 feet of 20-pound fluoro, ending in, this is, I don't know, is this a 6-inch? 6-inch Skerries, there was a joke there, wasn't there? Oh no, it's definitely 12-inch. Now this is a 6-inch Sidewinder Skerries eel in pearl. I like natural colours, I like white and a bit of red. And the first one that I had was just a miniature version. Go around and have one more drift at that. Yeah. We'll get one more pollock, I'll be over the moon. Every drop, what I'll do first is I'll run my hands along my trace to see if there's any damage on the line. Run my hands down the hook length to see if there's any scratches or dings or little bits of like knots or anything in the line, because if there is, those little abrasions, those scratches, those knots, that could mean that I'll lose my next fish. So it's always worth checking them. Never like taking too many fish off a single wreck as well. This wreck's fishing, I could sit here and I could fish this all day, maybe take 20, 30, 40 fish, but that would kill the wreck. So everything you do, same as foraging as it is with fishing, it's all about doing it in moderation, not being sustainable with it. I mean, there's nothing more sustainable than rod and line. Occasionally you do get an accidental bycatch or you get an accidental mortality, but you do it right, if it's targeted, nothing better. Oh no. I think there's a bit of net on that wreck. I've come to a different part of the wreck. I've come to the bottom part of the wreck, and about 15 winds off the wreck, I've latched into something. Should never wrap braid around your fingers, because it'll cut through them like cheese wire. Yeah, I was quite a distance up off the wreck then, so there must be a piece of rope that's floating. No, just lost the trace. I still think it's worth trying one more time. Tie up a new trace, I'll go around one more time, and then we'll have a look somewhere else. Oh, there's a fish. It's an interesting hook hold there, right in the bottom jaw. And there's the hook out. See how easily that hook came out? If I'd given him any slack at all on his way up, one of them thrashes and that hook would have come clean out. Come on, get yourself down. Yeah. Well done. Now, because I brought him up gently then, dropped him straight back, he's gone straight back down. I'm happy with that. Might try one more wreck on the way where I'm going, but I'm finished on this one. Feels like a nice one as well. Yes! That right there is what I've been after. That is a stunner of a fish. All of its barbs are tangled up in a net. That is an absolute beauty. That is exactly what I've been after. Perfect size to take. Oh. There's the lure. I knew when it was hanging deep that it was a nice fish. Yeah, like I say, ideal size for me would be like around about 50 to 60 centimetres. 40, 45, 46 to 60. This one is... Can you see that? No, you can't. This one's like 56, 57. Perfect size. You, sir, are coming home with me. They are a stunning fish. Go around and try that little bit of rock again. Yeah, all I've done is, just as I'm waiting for the tide to turn to put the anchor down, I'm going to have a little bit of a cast around. Same as I was using earlier on in that first reef, I'm using again. And yeah, managed to find my bass. Over the moon. Go around and try that one again. Time to take a layer off. Oh, what have we got? Oh! Yes! Feels bassy. You see how it's just like digging. Where are you? Fantastic. Love it when a plan comes together. Easy, tiger. There's the lure. There's the fish. Take measure there. This guy is exactly 50 centimetres. I don't know whether you can see that there. So yeah, I'll take that. Perfect. Lovely silver. I think what I'll do, yeah, I've caught me 2 bass. You're only allowed to keep 2 bass per person per day. I'll keep fishing for a little bit. I'll keep that fish alive in that live bait tank, and if I catch a better one, I'll let that one go and I'll keep the other. But in the next 2 drifts, if I haven't caught another bass, I'll just dispatch it and then we'll go and put the anchor down. Oh, there's the fish. That is a big fish, whatever that is. I've got a feeling that this is a big heavy pollock. mother of a pollock. Back you come, in the net. That is a stunning fish. Right, that was a mad and a half. Come round over a piece of rock and a fish picked the lure up right underneath the boat, ran under the boat, round, managed to get itself locked up in a bit of kelp. Because it was right over, because it was when the pinnacle, so the water was at its shallowest, managed to go around some kelp. So all I did was I backed the boat up until I was right on top of it, managed to put it round the kelp. It was lucky, but I did it. It's a swimming pollock. And then the boat, once water, when it comes over a rock, like over a pit of reef, it doesn't all flow in the same way, it all goes round, and so the boat just span and span. Well, my lure's had a bit of a mash up, hasn't it? But that is a beauty of a pollock. That is a stunning stocky fish. Now, because I've already got some pollock that I had on the wreck, I'm going to put this one back. Go on, get yourself down. Because I caught it on a reef, because it was only shallow, just go straight back. Couldn't see about putting the anchor down. I'm in a bit of a rush now to get this anchor down because I've got a squall coming in. It's going to get very wet very quick. You see it coming? Yeah. And just like that, I'm gonna have to put the camera away. And there, just as quickly as it came, it was gone. Now I am absolutely drenched in the boat because I was stuck. Usually what I'll do is I'll explain the theory and the method of anchoring. The boat for a period of time is sat drifting that way, so all of the rain just went whoosh, right inside the boat. So I was trying to get the anchor down to get the boat turned around so I could hide up the cuddy and put everything up inside the cuddy to keep it dry. But yeah, you saw how fast it come on. We've got the best part of like 35 mile an hour gusty winds today, and that squall come through at about 35 mile an hour. So now that I've got the anchor down, we're going to put the hooks back. We have sat all right. I'm going to put some little tiny baits down and I'll show you now. Right, in this, well, it's not going to stop raining, I don't think, for probably the next hour or so. It's just tiny clouds up here, like this. So I'm going to try and show you what I'm doing. I have got some little 2-hook scratching rigs. It's just a 2-hook paternoster. And I've got, on the hook, is a little stinger, a little one of them. Baiting it with a little bit of squid. What I'm hoping for is bream. It is a little bit early, but as soon as the water starts to get a little bit colder, we might start seeing some bream. This is sloppy. As soon as the tide starts to kick back in again, it might calm it off a bit. Yeah, I'm expecting we're going to get a bycatch of like pouting, poor cord, cuckoo wrasse, ballan wrasse, but what I'm after is a black bream. I always like to try and keep my hands as clean as possible, just because otherwise the rods end up covered in slime and crud and mess, and that's all it is. Now I have added a little flotation bait to the top there, a little bit of added attraction and also a little bit of flutter. First year bycatch species, a little pouting. Yeah. I don't think we're going to get more than about another hour here fishing before it gets really, really wet. Bycatch species number 2, cuckoo wrasse. I bet there's going to be some people thinking, oh, I feel a bit seasick. Yeah, today is one of those days. Yeah, I'm going to move. Move spots by a couple of 100 yards. We'll give that a go for a minute. If there's any bream there, we should find out pretty quick. As soon as the boat started to hitch around like that and I was over a pinnacle of rock, I knew every time I swung into it I was going to snag. Did actually, I snagged up on this one. I lost one of the hooks. Another lovely male cuckoo wrasse. Just swinging around too much with the wind. Yeah, as that boat's swinging round, just keep hitching up on the bottom. Got ya! That was pecking at that for ages. Just another male cuckoo. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to gut them fish here now, and I'll continue fishing this one rig, and if we catch anything decent on this one rig I'll stay, and if we don't, by the time it takes me to gut them fish we'll go. Yeah, we've had the best of the day already. The conditions are going to start getting worse now. I'm reluctant to take my coat off because I know as soon as I do it'll just make it start raining. Bycatch number 3, poor cod. There's a difference there between the two fish that I've got, bass and pollock. Now bass, you need to scale it. So you need to break all the scales up because they've got larger, harder scales than pollock. Pollock you can just skin them. Or you can even eat the skin if you want to. Yeah, but bass, they're easier to scale if you leave them whole. So I'm going to scale them first. Whoop. I'm going to scale them first and then I'm going to gut them. We've got another squall. The reason why I'm not scaling it inside the boat is because I would just shower scales all over and they're a nightmare to get rid of. So I'm doing it over the side in the water so they just all wash away. As soon as I feel, I'm not going to fillet these fish out here because I'm going to end up cutting my finger off. I'll do it when I get back in shore. Yep, it's getting worse. Time to go. Definitely managed to get the best of the day. You can see here the boat slowing down and I can feel and hear the boat labouring and the rope tightening. That shows me the anchor's stuck on the seabed. Ease off on the throttle and swing back into the tide. Oh, she's stuck tight. Yeah, all that happened there was the anchor got stuck really tight into a rock. Changed the angle at it, went at it from a different perspective and managed to pop it out. Can never have too many knives. I've got a really nice filleting knife and I've left it at home. There's your pollock, and there's your bass. Scaled, filleted, and everything has been V-boned. We'll have those for tea, and everything else there will get vacuum packed and put in the freezer. And there's your lot, all vacuum packed and ready for the freezer. I hope you enjoyed joining us. I hope you found it interesting. All the very best. See you later.